What is up, everybody? It is Tuesday, December 26th, the day after Christmas. Market was open today, and I actually took one trade last night during Asian session. I'm kind of debating whether I should even trade this week, but nonetheless, I'm still eyeing the markets. And so let's take a look at the action and the three different trades you could have taken today. Or really four, and I saw four potential setups. And so taking a look at, this is the daily, so we always start off on the 6-hour chart looking at the month. And so obviously we started off consolidating for accumulation. We manipulated up. We had this strange move down, but no continuation whatsoever. What we ended up having is just continuation up. And or this was really just a retracement, and now we're moving back up. So what I'm expecting for this week is a move on up, potentially targeting these two levels that I have marked right here. Now you're wondering what those levels are. They are previous liquidity points over here. So we have a swing high right there and another swing high there on lower time frames, and that's what these two levels are. So I do think that we're going to tap into this week. If we just continue up during the whole week, we'll see what happens. So that is the end of month bias, so I am bullish on that. Looking at the week, we obviously know that we are consolidating in the beginning of the week. So if I'm expecting price to continue on higher for the rest of the week, tomorrow I will have a bearish bias, potentially to this low right here at 984.50. So if we come and drop below that, that could be a liquidity sweep enough to get us to keep going higher. And then after that, we now have a bias for tomorrow. But for today, we knew it was accumulation, so we couldn't really expect much. You know, on Mondays, quote unquote Monday, I'm treating Tuesday today as a Monday because the first trading day of the week. I take my profits quickly because you cannot expect much from a Monday, especially since we're in accumulation. So now we drop down to the 5-minute chart, which is where we started in the video. So let us begin with the Asian session, which is marked right here in this purple box. So we have it opening up, big strong push up, and then we kind of just accumulate here. We're consolidating for a bit. And so what we end up doing for the second quarter of the session, we take that as the true open for the session. What does that mean? The true open is basically like a gauge for us to understand whether we are in premium or in discount. Excuse me. And so we use that as a gauge to know where we should be buying and where we should be selling. And so how do we know what direction? We take a look at the second quarter because we know this is accumulation. We accumulated longs here. This is now the manipulation phase. What is done in manipulation? It fakes people out, stops people out, or it typically leads you in the wrong direction. So we see here that we have a pump up and we create this swing low. Traders might have gotten in long right here, chasing this move here, right? They could have gotten in at this fair value gap, moved their stop from down here to up here to secure gains. So we know that we have stops down here. What does price end up doing at the open of 7:30 p.m. Eastern time? We drop, tap into this low, we manipulate below the true open. Price now comes into the third quarter, which is distribution. What is the distribution? It is the true move for the 4 quarters itself. And so what ends up happening here, we retrace back into a 5-minute fair value gap. Let me make that a little more obvious. Right over here, we have a 5-minute fair value gap. We retrace right into it. You could have entered long. I entered long right at 9, and then set it 50 ticks into profit. That's usually what I do on an Asian session trade. And we ended up tapping right into this liquidity level here. I believe my take profit was this candle right there. And we actually ended up taking out this area of liquidity as well. So when you enter, you can target areas of liquidity where we could go. And so that was a nice trade during Asian session right here, taking a long. You could have taken it at this fair value gap or right at 9 o'clock, since we already know it was a very apparent manipulation move down, taking out that liquidity. Now moving into the London session. In hindsight now, obviously, it is a very obvious move down, right? But let's take a look at what happened in the beginning of the night. So we split this entire daily quarter into 4 quarters itself. We start off accumulating right from midnight up until 1:30. And then what do we expect? A manipulation move. Where are we going to go towards? Targeting areas of liquidity. Right here, there's a 5-minute area of liquidity. We have the Asian session high as well. And so we have this move up. Again, taking this, the opening price, as the true open for the session. And so here we see that we have a manipulation move up, taking out that liquidity. Then we came back, and then at 3 o'clock is where your entry is. And now for London, I take 100 points. And so here it could have been a great trade, entering short right at the start of 3 o'clock. If you really wanted to get into something like an order block of some kind, you could have taken this order block right here, right there, tapped right in, and then targeted areas of liquidity. Where are they? There's one right there, another one right here, and the last one down here. And we see that the first move hit this one, didn't reach this one, but it did in the New York session. We ended up taking out these stops right there. And so, like I said, for London, I usually take 100 ticks, and that was very quick and easy. And so that was the second trade you could have taken. And so now we always say that the second quarter is the true open. Here's accumulation, here's manipulation for the day. The true open was the midnight opening price right there. So now we are taking a look at this. What did London do? London manipulated down, and it kept going down, and actually led into the accumulation phase here, taking out shorts. So taking out longs, sorry. So then the second quarter, now we're in the distribution phase of the day for New York Open. How could you have known that we were going to pump up? Well, London manipulated down, taking out liquidity, and then the accumulation phase, we accumulated shorts. And the big sign here was this wick. This wick right there showed strength in the buyers to bring it back up. So we have accumulation here, and now it looks as if we are manipulating up, right? For the true open for distribution. But that's not the case. We have to put in the whole picture together. So because we manipulated down, during here we accumulated longs during Asian, manipulated down, and even stopped people out right there, we want to see how price reacts to the true opening price. We came up as a quote-unquote manipulation move up, but it really wasn't the true manipulation move. What was the manipulation move was actually this move right back down below the true open, and look at that second wick, just boom, bought right up. Candles never closed below the 50% mark of that wick, and it just so happens that that 50% mark ends up being very close to the true open price, or if it even is the true open price. It is the true open price. Isn't that a coincidence? What a coincidence. Quote unquote coincidence. So because of this, you could have immediately known that this was going to be a long trade right at the opening of the distribution phase for the distribution of the day. This wick right here was sign number 1, and then this wick below this true open price was sign number 2. Where could you have entered? You could have entered long right at 9 o'clock, right here, boom, or you could have waited for a fair value gap to have been formed, which we did on the 5-minute here, entry right at the dip into this fair value gap, and lo and behold, what happens at New York Open? We pump right up. Take profit 1 could have been the London high. Take profit 2 could have been Friday's high as well. And then now where are we going? We are making currently a new high of day. And where could this be reaching to? Well, we just took out this point of interest right there, and we have one more point of interest right here, which is Wednesday of last week's high. So that's the 3 trades that you could have taken. Now let's say you were late and you didn't see this and you took a look at this and you said, oh man, obviously we're gonna go long. Where's the next thing you could have taken? Like I said, remember how price reacts to the true open of the sessions. 5-minute candle closed above midnight open. If we get a 5-minute candle close above it and we hold, enter long on the next trade. That's usually how I do it on the next candle. And then target those areas of liquidity. We did take out the London high on this candle, so it was a little tricky, but regardless, you could have entered long here and targeted right at this high. Could have targeted, I mean, you could have a runner to this high, which would have hit now, but all in all, good trades. Let's say you didn't want to do that. You didn't want to enter right off of that because you didn't feel too sure. You wanted to wait for another fair value gap. Well, what's that? Tapped right into it. Boom. First take profit. This high would have been tapped here at 1:30 in the afternoon. Would have been a longer trade. Second take profit. This high. So very different kinds of entry models you could have taken. We saw this sweep of liquidity right here from these lows right there from the Asian session, and we pumped right up. You saw a break of structure right there, or really a market structure shift, because we had sort of like a downtrend forming here, and then here was the market structure shift. So if you really wanted to have high conviction, market structure shifts right there. Price closed above midnight open. We have a fair value gap right here. Enter in. Pretty much a solid trade because you know this is going to keep going. Because of the high conviction of this wick right here was a liquidity sweep, and also the way we reacted to the true opening price there. So those were the trades you could have taken today. I only took the Asian session one, but regardless, lots of good entries today. So all in all, good day. Let's see if the rest of the week keeps up in this kind of price action. So, later.